Hey friends, in today's episode, I want to chat to you about the difference between training and coaching your team. And I also want to dive a little bit deeper about how it's best to go between both of them, okay? Because there's going to be times with you working within your organization, okay, that you are going to need to go between training and coaching. So I'm also going to give you my top 3 tips that you need for coaching, okay? Just keeping it with the basics. But let's dive into this a little bit deeper. So first of all, what is the difference between training and coaching? Okay, so let's just dive into a little bit about training. Okay, first of all, between training and coaching, okay, both methods, okay, are used to develop, enhance people, their skills, their performance. However, they differ in their approaches and their goals. Okay, so first of all, training, if we dig a little bit deeper into that, training basically it involves imparting a specific knowledge, a specific skill or a specific technique to people, okay? It's more focusing on the teaching of how to do something, okay? It's more focusing on providing people with the necessary information, the tools, the instructions on how to perform a task or job, okay? It's basically kind of teaching, okay? So training is generally more directive, okay, and instructional. So showing people how to do it, where to do it, why to do it, all the things, okay? So it's basically training is teaching someone how to do something, how to do it, why to do it, when to do it, why to use it, all of those things, kind of giving them the whole understanding, okay? But it's more of a telling, all right? Whereas coaching, on the flip side of that, I believe it's a more personalized and interactive approach, okay? It's more of a it's more helping people to recognize their own strengths and their own weaknesses. It's helping them to set goals, to develop their own solutions to problems or concerns they might be having. It's also coaching is more providing people with like guidance, support, feedback. It's a way of empowering people to explore their own potential, to make their own informed decisions and to improve their performance that way. Okay. And it's usually less telling. Okay. So training on one side is more the telling, the showing them how to do it, whereas the coaching is more facilitating that discovery, facilitating that growth and things like that. So let's talk about when you're going to use this. So you are going to, if you've got an organization where you're helping team members to grow and nurture and things like that, you are going to go between training and coaching all the time. However, in my experience, I find that we tend to do more training all the time as opposed to adding in coaching in with this. Okay. So if you first have like a new member join your organization, we'd have to agree that there's going to be a lot of training during that time, okay? Because they may not be familiar with your systems, they may not be familiar with your procedures, they may not be familiar with the way that your organization does things, okay? Now, whether or not there's things such as product knowledge to learn, or rules and regulation to learn, or specific skill set that they need to learn, that is going to be the role where training is going to help with that, okay? And training can come in so many different ways. It can come as a one-on-one training where you're showing them. It could come in a way where there's pre-recorded resources there, where it's just kind of, okay, here you go. Here are the modules. Go and do your training. Okay. Work through the modules, work through the guides, work through all of this information, all these trainings so that you can go through and that you can get your skill level or knowledge level to whatever it needs to be at that time. So that's kind of where you're going to be. So if you've got someone new joining your organization, you can still coach them. Okay. Coaching will still be effective then. However, if it's skill based or if it's something like that, you're going to find that there's going to be more training involved. However, as it progresses, okay, as your relationship with this member of your team progresses, you may find that from time to time you're going to have to go into a bit of a coaching mode. Okay. So let's just first of all, there's no one size fits all. Okay, there's no one size fits all. However, I've popped together my top three things that you need to do to be able to help you to be a more effective coach with your team. Okay, so let's dive straight into these. So it's going to sound quite simple because it is quite simple. Okay, if you want to help the people in your team, the top three things that you're going to need to know is number one, relationships. Number two is you're going to need to know to to listen, okay? And then you're going to need to ask questions. So it's kind of like relationships, listening and talking, okay? That's basically my top three things that you need to know in coaching. So let's unpack these a little bit more so that you can get a little bit of a better understanding of how you can use these and how they can help you to help you become a better coach, even to coach yourself, okay? But most importantly, to help people within your organization, okay? So let's unpack relationships. What do I mean by this is one of my top three tips? First of all, you need to establish a relationship with the person that you are coaching. So whether or not they are in your team, they're in your organization, whatever it might be, you need to establish rapport and trust with them. Okay. You need to get to know them. You need to build a little bit of a relationship. Now, does this mean you need to be best friends with them? No. Does this mean you need to know all the things about them? Everything? No. Okay. You do not need to know all their private details. If you're in a work situation and you're keeping it professional, you do not need to know all of their outside of work situations at all. Okay. However, you need to build enough of a relationship with them. Okay, so that they feel comfortable enough to open up with you, to share their thoughts about a situation and things like that. So imagine you've got an employee who you are trying to coach through something to help them get unstuck. Okay, maybe they're stuck and you can see that they're stuck. Um, but if you haven't built a relationship with them where they feel comfortable enough to talk to you about this and know that, there's no judgment and that they can say anything to you, it's going to be quite difficult. Okay. So, and that's where we dive into my top tip number two, which is listening. Okay. You need to be able to, if we go back to relationships, you need to be able to establish that rapport and that trust with the person so that then you are listening to them. You are listening to what their goals are, what their concerns are, what their potential challenges are, okay? And remembering what might be a challenge for them may not be a challenge for you, okay? So you need to encourage them to express themselves without judgment, okay? Listening with a genuine interest, genuine empathy for whatever is their concern or their challenge, okay? Because it's all about creating a safe and supportive space for someone to be able to open up to you, okay? And they need to feel understood. So they all kind of tie in together. Tip number one, relationships, okay? Creating a relationship with them, listening to them, and then number three is asking questions. Okay. Now, why are we asking questions? You've just said we need to listen to them. Now we do. We need to listen to them. But it's important to ask questions for a few reasons. Okay. Because it's going to help you as the coach. Okay. And it's also going to help the person that you are talking to get clarity around the situation. Okay. So you're going to ask thought-provoking questions. Okay. Even if it's just something simple as tell me a little bit more about that. Okay, because then they've got to dive in a little bit different or tell me, why is that important to you? Or why is this a concern for you right now? Or why do you think this is a challenge for you? Okay, just questions like that. And because you're going to, through these questions, okay, you're going to guide them to potentially different perspectives. You're going to challenge their beliefs, okay, and you're also going to help them to discover their own solutions, okay? Now, this comes with practice, okay? It's not just going to come out of time, but if you're genuinely listening to someone and their concern, the questions will come up for you, which is the correct questions. But generally, if you can just say, why do you feel like that's a challenge for you right now? Why are you concerned with this right now? Why have you set that goal? Why is it important to you? How do you think you can, what steps do you need to do to achieve that goal? What do you think that you can do to overcome that challenge? So can you see how that's different rather than coming in with going, because you're asking questions? Can you see how that's different from a coaching and a training perspective? Because if you're asking them the questions and you're saying, how do you think you can overcome this challenge? How do you think you can overcome this concern? Or have you ever thought about it this way? It's not training, it still sits under the hat of coaching. Okay. Now, don't misunderstand. There are going to be times where you're going to have, you might identify something within them that is a skill based, okay? And you're coaching them and you found the concern is that they, find that their skill level in a particular area is not where it wants to be, or they don't have the skill set that they need to go from here to here. Okay, so you might have to flip hats, take off your coaching hat and put your training hat back on, okay, and then train them through what it is that they might need to do, okay, or refer them to someone else that might be able to train them, that is a specific trainer in that area who has more experience in that than you, to help them get from A to B to overcome that concern because it was skill based. Okay, so you are going to go between coaching and training, um, and that's correct. Okay, and that is the best thing for you. So that would be the basics. Okay, so they're my top three tips of things that I think that you need in coaching. Okay, so that you can help people within your organization to build relationships, to listen to them, okay, and to ask questions. They're my top three tips. Now, just as a little bit of a bonus, I'm going to let you know within my coaching organization what are the top things that people have been of late coming to me to get assistance from me with. Okay. And this is where if you are finding that you're needing a coach and it comes further than your level of expertise, I do encourage you to get a coach to help you. Okay. Because most of the time, my clients come to me, okay, they're feeling stuck, okay, they have lack of clarity, okay, or they're stuck in that overwhelm, or they have a fear of failure, okay, or they have those limiting beliefs that are holding them back. Okay, if you get the resources or tap into the resources of an experienced coach, okay, and there are so many coaches out there that specialize in specific things, okay, they are going to be able to help you get past that way quicker. Okay, because a coach is going to be able to help you overcome your limiting beliefs, overcome whatever the obstacles might be, and just ask you those right questions to get you there and help you identify those situations and help you move through those challenges much quicker. Okay, so if you yourself are feeling stuck, okay, if you are feeling that you need clarity or you're stuck in that circle of overwhelm, you're not sure what things that you need to be working on, there's, you feeling like there's not enough hours in the day, or you're feeling that, that fear of failure, or potentially you're saying things to yourself like, oh, I can't do this. I wish I was further. And you've got maybe limiting beliefs that are holding you back. Okay. I would love for you to reach out for me, okay? I would love for you to reach out for me because potentially you yourself may need a coach to help you, okay? Help you to get unstuck, okay? That is one of the most common things that I have people reach out for me. They're just kind of stuck in that overwhelm, but they have big goals and they're moving towards their goals, but maybe they're not working towards their goals as quickly as they would like, okay? So reach out to me and we can book in a discovery session and we can see what's holding you back, okay? Because it could be some limiting beliefs, some limiting decisions that you have, made or caught, I like to say, many years ago. Okay, somebody might have said something and you heard it and you took on that belief, you adopted that belief, and then basically your unconscious mind has been looking for things to prove that belief as being true for years. Okay. And now you start to believe that those things are true, even though they are limiting beliefs that are holding you back, that are sabotaging you. Okay. Sabotaging you from achieving your goals and your dreams. So if that sounds like you, I want you to reach out. You'll find how you can reach out with me. You can send me a private message in the show notes, in the group, wherever it might be that you are watching or listening to this episode. Reach out to me and I would love to help you. Okay. work towards your goals, achieve your desired outcome, whatever it might be, reach out and we can book in a time so that I can help you with that. All right. Until next week, have a fabulous day. Bye, everyone.